Hello everyone, it's my pleasure to join you today to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Right. The conversation you want us to have today concerns one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. Talking about your spouse, how to choose your husband, how to choose your wife, that is one of the most important conversations you can have. In my books, your spouse is a key success factor in your life. If you marry the wrong girl or you marry the wrong guy, everything else that is your vision and your ambition can be put at risk because their understanding of who you are, what your vision is, what your journey is, and their willing support of it can elevate your journey or disrupt or destroy it. And therefore, it's a worthy conversation to have. Now, I've never seen a university study on how to choose a husband or how to choose a wife. We somehow manage to educate our young people, and when they're done, we expect them to magically bring the right husband or the right wife. Now, a good place to start always is with yourself. And the good place to start that is with yourself is first to have an understanding of who you are. You know, I'm a firm believer in not getting committed into marriage until you have a sense of yourself. And why is that important? How do you know the right person for who you are and for the journey that you seek for your future if you don't have a sense of who you are? Everybody can seem right, but every right person might not be the right person for you. And when it comes to marriage, it's about the specific. It's not that, oh, this guy is a great guy. This girl is beautiful, she's nice, she's that. Is she the right person for you? Is he the right person for you? Which is the real question about whether it's Mr. Right or it's Mrs. Right. Is Mr. Right for who or Mrs. Right for who? And you cannot get to that answer except you first understand who you are. So your first investment is in self-assessment. You know, who am I? Where do I want to go? What is my long-term vision? What are my values? At the end of my days, how do I want my story to end? What am I working towards? How do I want to finish? What are the things that are important to me? What values drive my life journey? What values impact the decisions I make every day? What is the end game? When I'm 70, 80, 90, 100, and I'm looking back, what is it that I really would like to see in that end game of my life? When you have a sense of that, when you invest in your self-assessment process, when you are able to reflect on your journey and arrive at a somewhat understanding, you won't always have a full picture because life is an adventure. There's a lot of our life that will be revealed to us along the line, but there are some fundamentals that are key that we must own and that we must use as guiding tools for making the right choices along the path of our life. And it's those things that we must bring to bear when we're considering who is right for us and who is not. Let's say you're a girl, you're ambitious, you're driven, you're smart, you want to get some things done, you want to achieve some amazing things. In doing that, it's important that the guy you choose to marry is a guy who has the capacity first to appreciate and celebrate your talents, who is not irritated by your brilliance, who is not challenged by your opinion, who is not put off or intimidated by how you think and what you say? Who does not every time seek to silence you because there's a sense of competitiveness in your self-expression? Who is not challenged by your promotion when it comes? And red flags, I think half the time we know what the problems are. You know, if you have an opinion about things and you're dating a guy who thinks that, women don't speak, or women's opinion should never be different from the opinion of their husband or their spouse or their boyfriend, you already know you have a problem. Because you're both going to come to the table with a talent. And that goes for the guys as well. Okay? What are you looking for as a girl in a relationship? You want a guy who has the capacity to love who you are. And who you are is everything that you are. You like to laugh, you like to dance. Okay. Someone who is not trying to suppress your energy. As a guy, you want the girl who has the capacity to love you, but also to respect you. Now, the girl also deserves respect. So you see, certain things will begin to emerge that are common threads. Can you respect one another? Can the girl respect the guy? Can the guy respect the girl? Do you have the patience to listen to one another's opinion? Does your opinion count? Do you allow the opinion of your partner to come into consideration? You might not agree with it, and it's okay. You won't always agree, but can you respect their opinion and say, look, I understand what you want to do. I understand what you see, but this is why I think we should go this way. And not having the same opinion is a way to reveal how you can mutually respect one another. Because I don't agree with what you think, but I can respect how you feel or what you think. But yet, you can respect mine and allow me to do that which I want to do, as long as it does not endanger our relationship or our family. Because in a family setting, you will always have to reach a consensus. And reaching a consensus requires that you are able to respect one another. That no one is the one that has all the answers. Sometimes the guy will be the one that is right. Sometimes it will be the woman who is right. It is in our sharing our thoughts together, thinking together. As they say, two heads are better than one. But it is two heads who have mutual respect for one another, who have the humility of spirit to listen to one another's opinion in order to arrive at a solution or a decision that serves the interest of their union. And in an opinion that serves the interest of the union, sometimes it will be one person's opinion that is overriding. But the question is, once you have decided that this is the way to go, can you submit to that opinion and work together towards it? Can you submit to that opinion and support it, even though it is not your preferred position, but the other party has a strong reason and a viable reason, which might not be your preferred position, but a viable reason that you can respect? What is your attitude to money? In a relationship, you need to understand the attitude of the man and the attitude of the woman to money. You need to understand their financial habits and their approach to financial matters. You need to be able to discuss what your financial goals are, individually and collectively as a family. And how do you respect one another's opinion where your finances are concerned? Must you have a joint account? Or can you respect each other's individuality and yet be a union? Because, it's easy to say, oh, we must have a joint account. Some couples can't manage it well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't mean they do not pull finances together for the family, but they come from their individual purses to a collective decision and application. Is that possible? Or will one's opinion force the other against their will to submit to the other's will? Financial respect, financial position, financial attitude is a key factor in determining Mr. and Mrs. Right. Is one responsible with money? Is the other responsible or irresponsible? Can you plan together for your family finances? Are you able to trust each other in terms of the management of your family finances based on your financial habits? Those are questions you need to be able to discuss. Do you have the vision for your family that is clear between both of you? I only want one child. I want two. I want three. Can you agree? If you agree to have two children and something happens and you have a third pregnancy, will the other party be so committed to their vision of two children that they're going to insist that even in a marriage, you must abort? Consider how they respond to situations, especially when it's not working according to their plan or it's not working in line with their own choices. It's important to be able to understand that. What are your values? What is your right? What is your wrong? What is his right? What is his wrong? Are you the wife that would push? Will you be the wife that will push the husband to bring money at all cost, which is why attitude to money is also important? Or are you the husband that will encourage the wife to do whatever it takes to get what you want from her? Your values. How will you relate to your families? Respectfully? Lovingly? Welcomingly? Or you're the person who likes my husband and I only? My wife and I only? You already have a problem if the girl comes from a family that's very together, very united, they like hanging around each other, they love being with each other, and all that. And if the guy likes my husband and my wife and I only, and the girl likes my husband and I only, because it means you're going to give up who you are for who he wants to be. Are you comfortable with that? Can you do that? Some of these things we ignore become the main issue in marriage. So you need to understand the perspective, the attitude, or the thinking of that person. You need to look at each other's family structure and see how the family that you will create will fit into the larger family, or how the values and the practices of the family you want to get into, how does that impact the vision you have for the home that you want to build together? So we're talking about the person, we're talking about their value system, we're talking about their personal vision, we're talking about their ability to respect others, we're talking about them being humble enough sometimes to be wrong and accept that the other party can be right. Then you need to talk about your faith. The Bible says, can two walk together except they agree? Why is that important? It would affect your family, it would affect your children. A family that prays together stays together. If you're of different faith, can you comfortably pray together? In which way? Where do the children go to? With what faith will you raise your children? Oh, I know couples that is worked for, but you also have to consider what is easier to work with. Shared values are key. A shared faith is a massive added advantage. The ability to stand together, pray together, fight together for the right things. Your faith impacts your values. And the kind of values you have impacts the kind of relationship you build or the kind of support system that you have. When you're fighting a good fight of faith, can you trust your partner to be there fighting with you because he or she believes the same with you? Or will you have an enemy in your house simply because they never agreed on your value system anyway? When you're trying to decide between Mr. or Mrs. Right, there are many questions that you must ask. Your friends are influencers in your home. Have you considered the circle of influence in each other's life? He said, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. Think of the voices that would speak to him or the voices that speak to her and how they influence her or influence him. Does she attract the right people as friends or hang around the right people as friends? Does he attract the right people as friends? Because ultimately, he will be a product of that circle. How does that influence your relationship? Are you afraid to share your opinion even now that you're dating? Or are you comfortable in your relationship to have an honest conversation and to express yourself? Because if you're going into a relationship where you do not have the liberty of expression, you're going to have communication problem. And that will ultimately affect your marriage. A lot of questions when it comes to trying to determine. Do your visions align? Are his ways your ways, or ways you're comfortable to live with? Are his values your values, or values that you know you can readily accept? Is his faith the same as yours, or a faith that you know you can be comfortable to walk in and pray in and trust? Is his family an added value to you, or a problem that you're going to be fighting the battle forever? Are his friends great value in his life, or the ones that you're always fighting the wind because of their negative influence? Do his thoughts, his ambition, his vision, do they align with yours? They don't have to be the same. We already know from science, opposites attract. So there will be many differences between you, but are they differences that can work together? Do you both have the maturity to respect each other, respect what each person is, respect the vision, the ambition, and the opinion of one another, and stand together always? Is the guy financially responsible? And is the woman financially responsible? I'm not saying is he a rich guy or is he financially buoyant. Is he financially responsible? Which means the best of what he has, he manages in the best way in the interest of the family. It's possible that one of you earns more than the other, but would you work together as a team with mutual respect? Because that's one very tiny issue that rips apart many marriages: money. And having the right attitude to money and having the right approach to it. But most couples do not discuss it. You should. You should have a sense of each person's attitude. You should have a sense of each person's position. Is he a careless spender? Can you trust him with the family money? Can you trust her with the family money? A lot of questions. But for each couple, the answers are yours. You need to make sure you answer those questions. And that makes communication key in a relationship. Communication is key. Transparency is key. And honesty with one another. It's possible you had some past that you're embarrassed by, but it's probably better to be transparent about it so nobody has a secret they're holding over your head to use against you. If you are open about the things that have happened in your life at any stage, and the other party is comfortable with it, and you progress, it becomes a non-issue and nothing anyone can blackmail you with. The toughest and the most important decision you will ever make in your life is about the partner that you marry. When you find a couple that are fully aligned in terms of their vision, I don't mean they have the same, but they are aligned. And they can agree. There's almost nothing that can stop them. There's nothing they can't achieve. For those who are Christians, the Bible says in the place of unity, God has commanded his blessings. And the most powerful unity you will ever find is the unity of a husband and wife. A husband and wife that is united, they are an unstoppable force. So it's really important that you find the guy that you can agree with, the guy that you are aligned in your vision, that you can stand to support one another, even when you disagree. That you can be humble with one another and you can be submitted one to another. And that the order of your house can be maintained. Every ship has a captain. For the girls, can you respect this guy enough to submit to him as the leader of your home? If you can't, don't marry him. Can you love this woman unconditionally? Oh, she has some weaknesses, so do you. He has some weaknesses, so do you. Can you love each other despite your weaknesses and accommodate it and work with it? Not just because you want to say I do and get married, but because you know that I can accommodate, that there's so much of him that I love that makes up for the weaknesses, as we all have. The question on Mr. and Mrs. Right at the end of the day is personal. But some of the things I've raised, I believe, are issues just to draw attention to the matters that we must consider.